Let's start our today's topic. So today's topic is STDs. We were discussing about the STDs in the previous lecture. We discussed various types of STDs caused by bacteria, caused by viruses, and caused by protozoans. We discussed their causative agents. We discussed how they are spread from an infected person to a normal person. Now today we are going to discuss how we can prevent the spread of STDs, right? So today we are going to discuss about prophylaxis. Prophylaxis. That means prevention of spread of STDs, which is most important. Spread of STDs. So we now know these STDs they spread from an infected person to a normal person through unprotected sexual intercourse, whether it is vaginal, whether it is anal, or it is oral sexual intercourse. If any two persons go for a sexual intercourse and they are having unprotected sexual intercourse, if one of them is infected, the other one is likely to get infected. So, in order to prevent the spread of these STDs, what should we do? So, for avoiding these STDs, a person must first of all have strict monogamous relationship. Strict monogamous relationship. A person must not go for a sexual intercourse with many people, right? Because a person is never sure which one is infected and which one is not. So if a person has strict monogamous sexual relationship, then he is less likely to get infected. Number second, in case of any apprehension of STD being present in his life partner, then the person must go for protected. A person must go for protected sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse. That means a person must use some condoms extra. Condoms. Because use of condoms, it minimizes the transmission of sexually STDs. It minimizes the transmission of STDs, right? So if a person is having monogamous relationship, but he feels that his partner is infected or her partner is infected, they should go for a protected sexual intercourse. Unprotected sexual intercourse must be avoided, right? We can also minimize the spread of STDs by avoiding prostitution, and homosexuality. Prostitution and homosexuality, they should be avoided because this prostitution and homosexuality, it is the main cause of spread of STDs, right? So if a person has strict monogamous relationship, if he never goes for unprotected sexual intercourse, and if he avoids prostitution and homosexuality, then he is less likely to get infected. Because most of these infections, they spread from an infected person to a normal person through unprotected sexual intercourse, right? So maintaining monogamous relationship, avoiding prostitution and homosexuality, avoiding unprotected sexual intercourse, they minimize the spread of STDs, right? Now, if any person is now having the STD, if any person has been diagnosed with an STD, what should he do? Or what should she do, right? These STDs, they are completely curable. Certain STDs, they are completely curable. There are some STDs which are not completely curable. For example, you may have heard about AIDS. AIDS, it is not completely curable. Similarly, hepatitis B, it is not completely curable. Similarly, syphilis is also not completely curable. The remaining STDs, they are completely curable. Except AIDS, hepatitis B, and syphilis. Other STDs, they are completely curable. If a person has been diagnosed with an STD, a person must immediately take the recommended medication. That medication should be taken regularly. The person must go first for evaluation of the STD to a doctor, to a gynecologist, a doctor or a gynecologist. He may prescribe some medicines for the treatment of these STDs. Then that treatment that should be strictly followed. If a person strictly follows the treatment, then he or she may get cured, right? Except for AIDS, hepatitis B, and syphilis. AIDS, hepatitis B, and syphilis, these are the STDs which are very difficult to control. They are not easily controlled, right? So these STDs, they are curable and they can be treated by a doctor or a gynecologist. Now, what are the symptoms of these STDs? Most of these STDs, they have got some common symptoms. We will have a look at the symptoms of an STD, how a person will come to know that he or she is suffering from an STD. So there are certain symptoms associated with these STDs. Some STDs like chlamydiosis, gonorrhea, trichomoniasis, STDs like chlamydia, gonorrhea, trichomoniasis, right? They have got some common symptoms. What are their most common symptoms? These STDs, they are characterized by dysuria. They are characterized by dysuria. That means painful micturition. So when a person voids urine, when a person passes out urine, at the time of passing urine, the person feels burning sensation in urethra. So this burning sensation which develops at the time of voiding urine, this is known as dysuria, or we call it as painful micturition. A person may suffer from urethritis. That means inflammation of the urethra. Inflammation of the urethra. This inflammation of the urethra, it leads to this painful burning sensation, right? A person may also suffer. Let's talk about first females. These are the symptoms which may be felt by a female who is suffering from this STD. A female may experience dysuria, painful micturition, burning sensation in urethra. A female may suffer from urethritis, inflammation of the urethra. A female may suffer from cervicitis, inflammation of the cervix. So the female may experience abdominal pain, particularly in lower abdomen. A female may experience abdominal pain in lower abdomen, right? It may be because of inflammation of the cervix, right? A female may suffer from vaginal discharge. A female may experience discharge of some foul smelling fluid from the vagina, right? That foul smelling fluid which is discharged from the vagina, that is known as vaginal discharge. A female may experience dyspareunia. Dyspareunia means painful sexual intercourse. At the time of sexual intercourse, a female may experience some pain, right? So these are the symptoms which may be experienced by a female if she is suffering from STD, right? Similarly, males also suffer from these STDs. They also experience some symptoms. What are the symptoms experienced by the males? These symptoms, they are common for these diseases. Like females, the males also suffer from STDs and they may experience the following symptoms. A male may also experience dysuria. Dysuria means painful micturition. Painful micturition because of inflammation of the urethra. So when the urethra becomes inflamed and a person passes out urine, at that time he develops burning sensation in his urethra. So that condition is known as dysuria. A male may also experience dyspareunia, pain at the time of sexual intercourse. At the time of sexual intercourse, right? Male may also experience penile discharge. Penile discharge. A whitish, foul-smelling fluid passes out through the penis. That is known as penile discharge. A male may experience tender, swollen testicles. Swollen testicles. The testes of the male, they may become swollen, they may become inflamed. And those testes, when they are touched, they develop pain, right? So tender swollen testicles, that may be a symptom of STD in males. Penile discharge, passage of fluid without any sexual excitement through the penis. That is known as penile discharge. It is caused due to bacterial infection. So that is a symptom of this STD. Similarly, dysuria, painful urination. At the time of passing out urine, a male develops burning sensation in his penis. That is known as dysuria. That is also a symptom of this STD, sexually transmitted disease, right? So similarly, females which are not treated for STDs, those females which are not treated for STDs, which do not receive the treatment, they later on develop PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. Pelvic inflammatory disease. Inflammatory disease. If a female is suffering from STD and she doesn't receive any proper treatment, then she is likely to go into an advanced stage. That advanced stage of STD is known as pelvic inflammatory disease. In this pelvic inflammatory disease, the infection spreads to uterus, the infection may spread to fallopian tubes, the infection may spread to ovaries, and the female develops tremendous lower back pain. A female develops tremendous lower back pain, right? And if not treated, the female may become infertile. This may lead to infertility. If this condition is not treated, if the female doesn't receive proper attention, if she is not treated, then it may result in infertility, right? However, males do not usually suffer from infertility caused due to STDs. However, males suffer from these symptoms: dysuria, dyspareunia, penile discharge, tender swollen testicles, or sometimes males may suffer from prostatitis, inflammation of the prostate gland. Prostatitis, inflammation of the prostate gland. Sometimes in males, the prostate gland may become inflamed, swollen, right? But mostly, males do not become infertile. However, if the females are not treated for STDs, then the infection spreads to their uterus, to their fallopian tubes, sometimes to their ovaries, and they develop pain in this lower back. They develop pain in the abdomen. They may develop also fever, and this may cause infertility in females, right? So these symptoms are almost present in chlamydia, gonorrhea, and trichomoniasis. Then there are some other STDs like AIDS, which have got some different symptoms. As I told you earlier, AIDS is not itself a disease. In AIDS, a person suffers from lack of immunity. The virus, it destroys our helper T cells. And when helper T cells are destroyed, our immune system becomes compromised. And the person suffers from lack of immunity. So in AIDS, mostly a person suffers from a lung infection known as pneumocystic pneumonia. A person suffers from skin cancers known as Kaposi sarcoma. A person suffers from inflammation of the lymph nodes known as lymphadenopathy, right? and some other opportunistic infections may develop, which finally kills the person if the person is not treated, right? So in AIDS, these symptoms do not develop. AIDS is characterized by some other symptoms: lack of immunity, opportunistic infections, skin cancers, which kill the person, right? Similarly, for hepatitis B, there are separate symptoms. In hepatitis, the liver is affected. Liver of a person is affected. In hepatitis, the liver of a person is affected. The person may develop chronic hepatitis or acute hepatitis. Chronic hepatitis is characterized by lack of appetite, sluggishness, nausea, vomiting, right? Whereas acute hepatitis, that affects the liver permanently, that causes permanent liver damage, that leads to liver cirrhosis, and that may cause then liver cancer, right? So in hepatitis B, the symptoms are different. In hepatitis B, which is an STD, which is a sexually transmitted disease, the liver is affected. Hepatitis may be acute or it may be chronic, right? In acute hepatitis, the function of the liver is affected. A person suffers from lack of appetite. A person may become sluggish. A person may suffer from nausea. A person may suffer from vomiting. A person may suffer pain in the liver, inflammation of the liver. That may cause liver pain, right? But in chronic hepatitis, a person suffers permanent liver damage, causing liver cirrhosis and liver cancer, which becomes the cause of death, right? Similarly, we have got genital warts, another STD. Genital warts. In this genital warts, which is a STD, a person develops warts. Warts are actually benign tumors. Warts are benign tumors. We call them in Kashmiri as ses. Warts are benign tumors. A benign tumor means a tumor which is usually non-harmful, right? Benign means which is non-harmful. So in genital warts, a person develops these tumors, these small warts on glands of penis. Glands of penis, that means the head of penis. Clusters of warts are developed. Clusters of warts. They develop on glands of penis. They may develop on shaft of penis. Shaft of penis. They may develop on scrotum. These warts may appear on scrotum. They may appear on inner thighs. Inner thighs. They may appear around the ends. Around the ends. These warts may appear in mouth in those who participate in oral sex, or the warts may develop in anus, in rectum, for those persons who go for anal sex. The persons who are doing anal sex, they may develop the warts in rectum. The persons who are going for oral sex, they may develop these warts in mouth, right? Mostly the warts, they develop in males on glands of penis. They develop on shaft of penis. They may develop on scrotum. They may develop on inner thighs. They may develop around the anus. They may develop in mouth if a person participates in oral sex. They may develop in rectum if the person participates in anal sex. In females, the warts may develop on labia. In females, the warts may develop on labia, minora, labia majora. They may develop on pubis. They may develop inside vestibule. They may develop inside vagina. In female, the warts may develop on labia minora, labia majora. They may develop on pubis. They may develop in vestibule. They may develop in vagina, or they may develop around ends. Around ends. Or if a female is also participating in anal sex, then they may develop in rectum. If the female is participating in oral sex, they may develop in mouth, they develop on inner thighs. Inner thighs. So these are the symptoms of genital warts. So genital warts, it is an STD. It is caused by virus. It is caused by human papilloma virus. As I told you in the last lecture, it is caused by human papilloma virus strain 6 and strain 11, right? So in these genital warts, benign tumors, small clusters of benign tumors, they develop in males on glands of penis, on shaft of penis, on scrotum, on inner thighs, around the ends. If males participate in oral sex, they may develop in mouth. If males participate in anal sex, they may develop in ends. Similarly, in case of females, these warts may develop on labia. They may develop on the external fold, that is labia majora. They may develop on the inner fold, labia minora. They may develop on the pubis, right? They may develop in the vestibule. They may develop inside vagina, or they may develop on the inner thighs. They may develop around the ends, or sometimes if females are participating in oral sex and anal sex, they may develop in mouth as well as in ends, right? So these clusters of warts, they create a lot of pain at the time of sexual intercourse. They create a lot of pain at the time of sexual intercourse. So they cause dyspareunia, they cause painful sexual intercourse, they cause burning sensation, right? So that is about genital warts. Similarly, there is another STD that is known as genital herpes. These warts, they can be cured by use of a medicine known as condyloma. That condyloma may cure the warts. Condylox lotion that may cure the warts, right? In case of genital herpes, inflamed, inflamed papules and vesicles develop on glans penis, shaft of penis, on pubis, scrotum, thighs, around ends. These papules or vesicles, they are fluid filled blisters. They are fluid filled blisters. They burst open and they develop a lot of itching. They develop a lot of itching and burning sensation. And burning sensation. So small fluid filled vesicles, they develop on the penis, they develop on the scrotum, they develop on the inner thighs, they may develop around the ends. So when a person feels itching sensation, the person starts scratching these papules and vesicles. They burst open, they release fluid, and then they develop burning sensation, which makes a person very much uncomfortable. These papules or vesicles, they may also develop in females on the genitals. In females, they also develop on genitals. They may develop on pubis. They may develop on labia. They may develop again in females on thighs. They may develop around ends. And they also cause the same symptoms as in males. They develop itching and then they develop painful sensation, right? They cause burning pain, right? So these genital warts, these papules and vesicles, genital herpes, it is caused by herpes simplex virus 2 and 1, strain 2nd and strain 1st, right? So these are also caused by the viruses. So it is a viral STD. and this is also curable. Antiviral drugs can cure it. If a person is suffering from genital herpes, he may go to a doctor. The doctor may give some antiviral drugs, and those antiviral drugs may control it, right? So these are the symptoms for genital herpes, right? So AIDS, genital warts, genital herpes, they have some different symptoms. Hepatitis B, that has also some different symptoms. Rest of the STDs, they have got the same symptoms. So these are the symptoms of STDs. If a person is experiencing certain such symptoms, the person should not be afraid of going to a doctor. The person should not feel shy. The person should immediately go to the doctor. The person should get himself or herself evaluated. The person should get himself or herself evaluated, and the doctor may prescribe a recommended, a suitable antibiotic or antiviral by which the person may get treated. If the person feels shy and he does not go to a doctor, then the infection spreads, and in case of females, they may become infertile, and this may sometimes also cause infertility in the males. Males do not usually suffer from infertility, but sometimes a male may also become infertile because of the lack of this treatment, right? So that is all about the symptoms and the prevention of STDs. So we were supposed to discuss only this much about the STDs, right? Now we know STDs, they are caused by bacteria, they are caused by viruses, and they are caused by protozoans, right? Now we know how the STDs spread from one person to another person. So we have come to know that they mostly spread from an infected person to a normal person by unprotected sexual intercourse, which mostly occurs at prostitution centers, which mostly occurs during homosexuality, right? So if a person tries to avoid them, then he is not likely to get these STDs. So how we can prevent ourselves from contacting STDs? So we should maintain strict monogamous relationships, right? A person should not go for unprotected sexual intercourse. A person should avoid homosexuality and prostitution because they are mostly spread by this homosexuality and prostitution. So if a person is strictly monogamous, he is not going for unprotected sexual intercourse, he is avoiding prostitution and homosexuality, then a person is not likely to suffer from these STDs. Now, if a person is suffering from STD, he should not feel shy, he should not feel guilty. He should immediately go to a doctor. He should get evaluated. A doctor will prescribe a specific medicine. He should take the medicines regularly so that the person gets treated, so that the person gets completely well. If the person does not go to a doctor, there are two risks associated with it. Number first, he is likely to transmit the disease to other people, and number second, this may lead to infertility, and this causes a lot of discomfort. Right? The most important point in here is that a person may spread the disease if he is not getting himself treated. Right? So that is all about STDs and their prevention and control. Right? Now, after this, we are going to discuss another important topic in this reproductive health, that is assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technology. In short, it is written as ART. ART is the acronym. ART is the acronym for assisted reproductive technology. So, what is this assisted reproductive technology? How can we define it? This assisted reproductive technology is a group of techniques. So there are many techniques involved in it. It's a group of techniques or methods. It's a group of techniques or methods which help which help infertile couples infertile couples to bear children to bear children. So assisted reproductive technology is a group of techniques or methods which help us infertile couples to bear children. So those persons who are suffering from infertility, if they go to a center, assisted reproductive technology center, they may get treated there by different techniques or by different methods, and they may be able to have children, right? So here we come across a word infertility. What is infertility? How can you define infertility? How we define infertility? Infertility is the inability to bear children or to conceive or to conceive or to conceive even after 2 years of non-protective, non-contraceptive, 2 years of non-contraceptive sexual activity. So infertility is the inability to bear children or to conceive even after 2 years of non-contraceptive sexual activity. So if a couple is not using any contraceptive device, they are going for normal sexual intercourses. Still they are not conceiving, they are not able to conceive, or they are not able to bear child for 2 years, for a regular period of 2 years. Such a couple is said to be infertile couple, right? If a couple is using contraceptive device, they are not having the children, right? We cannot call them infertile because they are using contraceptives. Now we have got a couple who is trying their best to conceive or to have children. They are not using any contraceptive device. They are not using any tablet. They are not using condoms, right? They are not using any hormonal implants. They are trying their best to conceive or have children, but they do not succeed in having a child for 2 years of non-contraceptive sexual activity. Such a couple is said to be infertile couple, right? So what are the causes of infertility? Both males and females, they suffer from infertility. We would now like to discuss what are the causes of infertility in males and females. So males have their own causes for infertility, females have their own causes for infertility. We will have a look into the causes of infertility in males and causes of infertility in females, right? But we are running out of time. So this is section for today. Hope you have understood what I have told you.